Let's swap Earth with every planet in the solar system and see who survives. We are living in the best planet for life in the entire solar system. Okay, probably. Maybe there is life on other planets, but we don't know about that yet. Let's change that. First, let's put Earth on Venus. Dramatic music intensifies. We all know that Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system. So what would happen to Earth if it suddenly switched places with Venus? The answer is simple. Earth would be scorched like a piece of bread in a toaster oven. And here's why. The first thing that would happen is that our planet would receive the same amount of sunlight as Venus. And Venus receives twice as much sunlight as we do. That's because Venus orbits closer to the Sun than we do. But that's not the worst part. Our planet's atmosphere is very different from that of Venus. The gas that makes up most of Venus's atmosphere is carbon dioxide. This means that our planet would receive a lot more heat than it can handle. That's because carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas and it traps heat very well. In fact, Venus has an intense greenhouse effect, and this is the main reason why it's so hot there. Now, imagine how much hotter Earth would be if it had Venus's atmosphere. We would literally be boiled alive. Not even the deepest oceans could save us from this fate. Even the ocean water would boil. All life on Earth would die instantly, including the dinosaurs. They were pretty tough. Next, let's put Earth on Neptune. Can you guess what would happen next? It'd be so cold that you'd freeze solid and crunch when you took a step outside. Why? Because Neptune is the coldest planet in the solar system. Its average temperature is about minus 214 degrees Celsius. That's about the same as 700 degrees Fahrenheit. At these temperatures, all the water on Earth would freeze, including the water in our bodies. We would become popsicles and our planet would turn into a giant ice cube. Also, if Earth orbited Neptune, it would get very little sunlight. That's because Neptune is far from the Sun. As a result, we'd have extremely long dark winters and very short summers. Life couldn't survive such conditions. Okay, so maybe switching places with Venus or Neptune isn't the best idea. How about the other planets? What would happen to Earth if it switched places with them? Stay tuned until the end of the video and you'll find out. Do you enjoy watching sci-fi videos in which everything follows the laws of physics? Then subscribe to my channel. By subscribing, you will also help me to reach my goal of 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you very much. Let's start with Mercury. It's the smallest planet in the solar system, and it's also the closest to the Sun. If Earth suddenly switched places with Mercury, what would happen next? Most importantly, we would receive a large dose of deadly radiation. You see, Mercury doesn't have a magnetic field like Earth's, and this leaves it vulnerable to solar winds. These winds blow charged particles from the Sun onto the planet. Also, because Mercury is so close to the Sun, it would receive a huge amount of ultraviolet radiation from it. If we moved there, we wouldn't survive for long. Soon, our DNA would begin to unravel and our cells would disintegrate. There's nothing to do about it. But what if instead of Mercury, Earth switched places with Venus? As we already know, this would mean certain death for all living things on our planet. And what if Earth found itself on Mars? Switching places with Mars would be a pretty bad idea. Although it's not as far from the Sun as Neptune, the red planet's gravity is much weaker than Earth's. Gravity affects almost everything, from the way objects move to the way our bodies work. What would happen to us if we suddenly experienced weightlessness? For one thing, we would find it difficult to walk. Our muscles and bones aren't used to such low gravity. But the main thing is that Mars has a very thin atmosphere. If we moved there, we would simply freeze. Just like on Neptune, all the water on Mars is frozen. And although the planet has many other things going for it, it's certainly not a place where people could live. So it turns out that none of the inner planets would be a good place for us to live. But what about the rest? Let's switch places with the gas giants and see what happens. If Earth orbited where Jupiter does, it would be frozen. Even the internal heat of the planet wouldn't be able to warm it up because it's so far away from the Sun. The same would happen if we moved to Saturn. The only difference is that we could enjoy beautiful rings around us, but it wouldn't make up for the lack of sunlight. Now let's try switching places with Uranus. It would be completely dark. That's because it rotates almost perpendicular to the Sun. In such conditions, photosynthesis couldn't happen. Plants would die and animals would soon follow suit. Basically, there would be no life on Earth anymore. And what about Neptune? Switching places with this planet would mean saying goodbye to any chance of seeing the sun ever again. It's so far from the sun that it takes 165 years for it to orbit just once. If we tried to switch places with it, we'd spend the rest of our lives in darkness and cold. Oh, and what about Pluto? Well, let's just say that switching places with it would mean saying goodbye to any chance of feeling warmth ever again. By now, it's clear that if Earth switched places with any of the planets in the solar system, all life on our planet would die. Our position in the cosmos is the only reason we exist. Are you still curious? Then hit subscribe. And now let's watch as Earth dies a horrible death on every planet in the solar system. Oh no, it's too scary. Let's rewind the video and do it again. And what if Earth went supernova? You'll find out in this video.